Hey guys, it's Anthony with the Rag Company, and in today's video, we are giving you everything you need to know about the newly introduced Ika Foam and Multi Pro 2 sprayers. So getting straight into this, the new Ika Pro 2 sprayers are the successor to the popular Ika 1.5 sprayers. These sprayers are hands down some of those popular sprayers in the detailing industry. So what we're gonna do is start off with the new Ika Foam Pro 2 and go through all of its improvements and new features that have been introduced into the new sprayer. So right off the bat, you'll notice that the new Foam Pro 2 box is slightly larger than the 1.5, and that has to do with the increased capacity. So throughout the box here, you'll have some of the new improvements here, as well as some cool product pictures, and then going through it with a couple of the key features that have been made specifically to the Foam Pro 2. So we're gonna open this up and show you just exactly what you get in this box. So pulling out the sprayer here, it is in fact larger. This is now a usable capacity of 50 ounces in comparison to the previous 1.5 that was only 35 ounces. Not to say that 35 ounces isn't bad, but 50 ounces, bigger is better, right? I think we like that. So down inside the rest of the box, we have a couple more accessories here that we'll get to in a minute. And of course, you have your guide here. So pulling this spray over here, we're gonna go through some of the first features that we see right off the bat that are different from the 1.5. So we'll see here that it has a new non-wobble base. This base is wider, and when you set it down, it's not gonna go falling or toppling over. So very sturdy down below, and that was a great improvement over the previous 1.5. Now here on the handle is another thing that a lot of people notice, which is actually this new trigger lock mechanism. So instead of having an accidental discharge, you no longer have that problem due to the lock that is on here. So you simply have an on or off. Pressing it inward will lock the trigger, pressing it outward like that will keep it to where you can use it. Now, other than that, you're not gonna see a whole lot of changes here on the top portion of the sprayer assembly. So you'll have your lock portion, but underneath here, this is still a lot of the same meat and bones that you would see in the previous 1.5. So if you have a 1.5 and you're very familiar with that, then this shouldn't be any different to you. So pulling up the main container here, this may look like a normal container, but there is a couple new features on it that make it a lot better than the previous 1.5. Right off the bat, like I said before, the new non-wobble base. Up top here, you actually have a couple indentions here where you can put your fingertips when you are tightening the top on or loosening it. So instead of having your hands slip around, you do have a new grip here. Now on the side, we also have the indicator lines showing you how filled this is. Now that is extremely important when it comes to the dilution ratios for these sprayers, specifically with the foam. Guys, I'm telling you, dilution is everything. This is not as simple as just pouring product in and mixing water and spraying and getting foam. You have to do a little bit of science and a little bit of measuring to get the proper foam and get the best use out of this sprayer. So the new 50 ounce capacity here, which at the halfway mark is the 35 ounce capacity, which was technically the working full amount that you would get in the previous 1.5. So larger capacity means more pressure, which means a little bit more air that you'll be able to shove down inside there to get a little bit more spray action out of it, and that is a big improvement in our eyes. So setting this aside just for a moment, we're actually gonna go through the accessories that come with the new Pro 2 sprayers. So you'll see that baggie before, where there's a little bit more added color than we're used to seeing. So in this baggie, we have two new colored caps for color coding specifically on the Pro 2 sprayers. These will not fit the 1.5s if you're curious about that. Now with the new Pro 2 sprayers, the handle has a notch on it where these caps fit directly over. And not only are they just color coding caps, but they are also a storage solution for your color-coded orifices for your dry and wet foam. So it's pretty simple. We're gonna take our green cap here, and I'm gonna call this my all-purpose cleaner cap. So we're just gonna line it up with the handle itself, line it up, and clip it in. And just like that, you now have a color-coded cap to know what exactly is in your sprayer in case you happen to forget the chemical that was in it, but you could also store your orifice tips inside here as well. So all you do for that is let's just twist this off. So down inside here, we have a couple different colored tips. Now, if you're familiar with the 1.5, you'll know what these tips are. This is going to be your wet foam tip, and this is going to be your dry foam tip. Now, when we call them tips, these are actually not tip as far as meaning the tip on the end of the sprayer, but actually go within the bottom of the sprayer themselves. But we're gonna talk about storage really quick. So pretty simple, we're gonna grab our 2 colored orifices here, drop them into the handle themselves, then grab our cap right here, and then this is going to go over and clip in. And now we have a storage solution so we don't lose those anymore. This is great, right? Why didn't we think of this sooner? This is pretty awesome. Now, one thing we didn't cover in our previous Everything You Need to Know About IK sprayer videos was the filters that come with these. So in here, you'll have a new set of 10 filters for the IK Foam Pro 2. This is really simple. I want to show you how to use this so you guys know exactly what to do when you see these. So these filters with time will get worn and will get aged with all the chemicals and all the pressure that you put through this thing. So you'd want to change these out maybe every couple months or so, or after heavy use, maybe once a month or every few weeks, depending on how much you are using these things. But it's pretty simple. All we're going to do is twist off this end tip here with this purple cap, and you're going to see this purple cap portion fall out. Now, within the bottom of this here is actually going to be your filter. So there's a filter down inside this. Now, to remove this, I recommend getting some type of maybe needle, you can get some pliers, you can get a little nail if you want to, and actually pick this thing out and remove the old filter. Now, to put the new one in, all you have to do is punch one of these things out, slide it down in there, make sure it seats properly, and then simply slide this back down through that cap and then attach it to the end of the sprayer here. So for anybody wondering, no, these tips do not go here. So Anthony, how do you replace the foaming tips on the sprayer? I know a lot of people buy these sprayers and they use them straight out of the box, which is totally fine. With these sprayers comes with 3 different foaming orifice tips, meaning you're going to have your green for your dry foam, you are going to have your orange for your wet foam, and then you're gonna have your gray, which is standard and currently installed for your mix between the two. Not too wet and not too dry. So here's how to change it. We're gonna twist this bad boy off, and then in the bottom of here, you are going to see your suction tube. And this is where it's actually gonna be pulling most of the product. Now, at the very top of that tube, you'll see a gray cap that looks very similar to the green and the orange. So for this, we are going to wiggle it out and pull that thing out, and there you are. That's your gray orifice tip there. Pull that thing off, and let's just say I want the orange tip because that's personally my favorite. I'm gonna slide that on and simply put it right back where we got it, clipping that in. So there we go. We're just going to put this back on, screw it back up, and then once our product's in there, pump it up and we're ready to go. Now, if you're also not familiar, these sprayers do have an automatic depressurization feature, meaning that if they get pressurized too much, they will depressurize by themselves. And that is this little cap right here. You simply pull that up to depressurize it after you're done using it, or if it's been over pumped, it will release air from that area there. So it is safe, and with the new sprayers, being that they're larger, they're gonna have more capacity, they're able to produce more pressure, and they just look really, really awesome. We really, really like these. So we'll go ahead and switch to the new IK Multi Sprayer and show you some of the key features of that sprayer. Next up here is the IK Multi Pro 2 sprayer. Now this one's pretty simple in comparison to the foam, as it's not creating foam and dilution ratios aren't so important, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. Now right off the bat here on the box, you're gonna see that this is suitable for acids. So unlike the Foam Pro 2 sprayer, this is gonna be more for your acidic based cleaners if you are choosing to use those, whether it be acidic wheel cleaners or anything used to remove water spots or anything like that. So that would be recommended with this sprayer alone and not the foam sprayer. So diving straight in, we're gonna open up the box here and show you just what you get. So the IK Multi comes right out, and as far as accessories, it still has a bag of accessories that are just not as complex as the foamer. So right off the bat, first thing you're gonna see are the similarities between the IK Foam Pro 2 and the Multi Pro 2. Now the new non-wobble base for users of the 1.5, that's awesome. You know how awesome that is. Now up top here, you still have the same trigger locking mechanism. Simply press it in to lock it, keeping that from discharging, and then pressing it back to unlock it. Very simple, very straightforward. You're also gonna have your automatic pressure release here for when that is, let's say, too pressurized, or when you know you've reached max pressure pumping this up. Now, the difference here is now on the front, you're gonna notice that you have a clear tip. Now on the IK Foam Pro 2, you are going to have the purple tip. On this one, standard is going to be more of your conical spray here, which allows you to adjust this to turn whether you want more of a mist setting or more of a fine line. Now, with the increased pressure on the multi-sprayer, you definitely notice the spraying pattern and how much power it has in comparison to the previous 1.5. Now, changes as far as this front portion here. Now, if you would like to change this and change out from more of that conical spray to more of a fan spray setting, that's where we have our another colored bag of accessories in here. So you're gonna notice right off the bat that you're gonna have your colored caps, of course, and then below that, you're going to have your new fan spraying tip. So this did come with the 1.5, but a lot of people saw this and said, what is this? And is this a foaming tip? It's not a foaming tip, unfortunately, guys. This is a fan tip just for the liquid that you were spraying out of the multi-sprayer. You'll know it's a foaming tip if it's purple. This one is gray. So to install this one, all you're gonna do is simply twist this on. And on this one, there is actually no filter on here. So the foam does have a filter. The multi-sprayer has no filter. So there is nothing to replace in terms of filters go. Now, opening up the sprayer here, on the very bottom, the other key feature you're gonna notice about the multi-sprayer is that it doesn't have any of the replaceable tips. This tube is attached to the bottom here and it doesn't need to come out. So you don't need to pull or tug on that. There is nothing to replace there. And so that is going to be pretty static as far as that goes. Now I'm gonna twist this off just for a moment to show you that this bottom portion of the sprayer is gonna be the same as the foam sprayer. So if you'd like to swap back and forth between these two, you do have that option as they are the same. So you're gonna have your non-wobble base. Then up top here, you are gonna have your grip points for when you are tightening down the top head of the sprayer here or loosening up as needed. So instead of losing this sprayer, it's another storage option for our caps here. So we're gonna simply slide that in, grab our cap here, put this on like that, and clip it in. And just like that. So that's going to wrap up everything about the IK Multi Sprayer. Now, one thing I do want to go over is to a brief little frequently asked questions where I'm going to bring back the foam sprayer and talk about the key differences between the sprayers themselves and what kind of chemicals I'd recommend in each one. So now it's time to talk chemicals. Fortunately for you guys, we put these handy little cheat sheets down in each one of these sprayers. Now, these are extremely important because dilution is key, especially when we're talking about the IK foam sprayer. So talking about that really quick, the IK foam sprayer was designed to be used for chemicals that have surfactants in them. Anything that has a detergent or a foaming agent, this is going to absolutely thrive with. If you're trying to put water or rinseless wash or anything that wasn't designed to foam, you're going to have some pretty bad results, and that's when you jump to the multi-sprayer. Now for reference here, when it comes to using the foam sprayer, let's take car soap for example. You're going to want a dilution ratio of 34:1, which is shown here on this little cheat sheet, meaning that if you were to fill it up to that 35-ounce sprayer line, you would do 34 ounces of water to just 1 ounce of car wash soap. That's it. That's all you need. Less is more when it comes to the foaming sprayers, and you will always need water when it comes to diluting in the sprayer itself. Now to mix the chemical, it's pretty simple. You're gonna put your water in first and then your chemical and then stir it in. Don't grab it and shake it, because when you shake it, you're gonna build foam and pressure within the sprayer that we don't necessarily need because we want that foam on whatever surface that we're working on. So simply pour your water in, pour your product in, and stir it in. And if you're using like a heavier gel, like a soap or something, make sure it has diluted completely, because if it's not, it's going to get clogged up in that little tube, and nobody wants that. Now, Anthony, what if I want to spray a product without foam, meaning I just want to rinse with some water or a rinseless wash? Well, that's where the IK Multi comes into play. This product is great for spraying water, spraying rinseless wash, spraying quick detailers, spraying all-purpose cleaners, you name it. Whatever you put in this, it will not foam. You can pump it as many times as you want, change all the tips, all the nozzles, not gonna foam. It's just gonna spray out a pure liquid, which is actually extremely helpful. This is my favorite for rinseless wash or putting in all-purpose cleaners that I don't necessarily wanna foam or pump up enough to make foam with the foamer. To sum it up, the multi-sprayer is going to be your best option for spraying any liquid product, and it is acid safe. So if you do decide to use wheel acid, go for it. It can definitely handle it. Now, Each one of these cards are going to have other tips and tricks for these sprayers and as far as how to maintain and care for them. After each use of the sprayer, we do recommend running through with water and rinsing them out completely. You don't always have to do that, but one thing you do have to do is to depressurize them. You do not want to store these with pressure in them, as they will prematurely wear the seals, and nobody likes that. So hopefully you guys found this video helpful and introduced you to the new IK Pro 2 sprayers. We appreciate everybody who's watching and that has supported the IK sprayer lineup throughout the years. If you guys like this video, give us a big thumbs up, subscribe down below for more, and stay tuned for more videos right here at The Rag Company.